Hi and welcome in the newest tutorial of the beauty box. This is how the beauty box looks like. It's a beautiful box with a bamboo lid and with a mirror underneath, and we are gonna create geode style design on top of the lid. And now first thing, we are gonna prepare the sides, and we're gonna protect the sides so it's not gonna be any issues with closing up the lid afterwards, and everything will have a professional and clean look and finish. And this is why you need to tape the sides. And I want to make sure that you know that this tutorial is gonna be speed up, so I'm not taking too much of your precious time, but you have all of the essential information that you need to create it by yourself. But the full tutorial with full details, it's gonna be available for anyone who is purchasing the Druzy goddess sets, so you have an option to see full tutorial over there. But right now, let me see with you how you have to protect the edges. And what is really crucial is not the kind of tape you are using, but to paint on top of the edges. And for this specific project, I'm gonna use Amsterdam paint in one titanium white color, but it really doesn't matter. You can use any kind of acrylic paint, or you can use gesso. It's really up to you. I decided to go with Amsterdam acrylic paint because it was just sitting out there, and I like how it's covering. It's actually having a little bit better coverage than gesso, and just the most important thing is to cover the edges so there is no leaking underneath the tape after you pour the resin. And I painted the lid twice, and then I was spray painting it because I decided to use a little bit different color for this project as the background color, and I decided to spray paint it in a dusty pink shade. And now we are gonna attach casted crystals from Art for Start mold. Is Monster mold 490. I'm loving to work with it whenever I'm working with Druzy, and I always make sure that I add enough hot glue for the resin to not go underneath the casted crystals, because otherwise it can change the color. And now I'm attaching the clear quartz points, because always when I'm working with geode style, I'm attaching real crystals. The casted highlights are only there for additional beautiful finish and interest, but I'm showing you the different kind of pieces that you can cast in the monster mold. And this is the beauty of this specific mold, is that you can have so many different options in creation just from one mold. And I'm just playing around, I'm choosing different pieces and shapes, and I'm trying to figure it out which ones will be the best to use. And just take your sweet time, play with the design a little bit, and just attach it with hot glue. And hot glue is very useful. It's drying in just a matter of seconds, and you can continue working. And those are the shades of the Druzy's collection that I was considering to use. The first one was the Eidos blush. This is the Ambrosia white. This is Persephone's peony, and the last one is Violet Dream. And I was considering all of three of them, and actually this one that you see now on the camera is Persephone's peony. It's pretty beautiful and nice, and I was really down to work with it. This is Eidos blush, and this is the Violet Dream. And at the end of the day, I chose Violet Dream because I was having pre-casted elements of Druzy and little highlights of Druzy that I created a couple of days before, and I decided to work with them because they were having beautiful different options and shades already waiting for me. But you can make all of those Druzy elements up front, but you can also mix the Druzy from Druzy goddess sets right before pouring the resin and put them on the panels. It doesn't really matter. I was having some beautiful pieces of puzzle, and I just wanted to show you that whenever you're having some leftover from the Druzy, you can cast them on the drip cloth on the silicone mat in those different shapes and form. You can mix and match different colors, and then once they're cured, you can use them as a pieces of puzzle and as pieces of design that you can put together and create something really unique, because you can mix and match different shapes, sizes, colors and finishes. You can see that I'm having moon goddess, which is granite look with a little bit more of black tie goddess. It's a little bit more darker than just moon goddess finish on those little pieces. And I'm having here also Ambrosia white elements, and I'm having here also Violet Dream, which is more in the shade of the amethyst. And you know, sky is the limit here. You can add more white, you can add more on, you can even work with 3 of the different colors of the pink and create really something unique. And this is the violet blue that I'm showing here, and the moon goddess, which is more of like a granite look finish. And yeah, this is what I actually decided to do. Those were a little bit of different options that I was still having available, and they can be precasted the day before, they can be precasted from the leftovers, they can be even done a couple of weeks earlier, and then you can play with them and work with them later on your smaller projects. And they're perfect for functional art. And what I also love with using casted elements from Mord 490 is that they're much lighter than crystals and the glass, and they're perfect for functional art. And for this specific project, I'm gonna work with Apex Resin 1 coat, which is very high viscosity resin. You can see how nice and dense it is, and this is something very useful, especially if you work on smaller surface. The resin is not dripping off and is not running off the project easily. It's staying in place and it's curing really fast. I was doing this project later in the afternoon, and by the time I was going to bed, the resin was cured and everything was ready to use. I absolutely love that. And the next day morning, I was having already everything cleaned and ready for the new project, so you can make much more projects. And I decided to work with white, with iridescent pigment, which was changing the shade from blue to violet. And I was working with Goddess Whisper and also some white pigment, and I decided to do dirty pour. And this is how I pour all of the pigments. Everything was mixed in 1 cup, and I decided to just pour it on top. And I will be working with some wispy effect on top of the lid. And this is just the background, this is just the base, and then I was bringing up all of the different shades and colors that I created in the little cups to play with some additional wispy effect. But my goal for this specific project was to achieve very delicate and elegant soft look, and this is how you can do that, by just adding very soft colors, very soft tones. I'm making sure that around the crystals where I was having hot glue, everything is properly covered with resin, because hot glue is not keeping the crystals, it's not keeping them very nicely. You can easily rip it off. And in the functional art, it's really crucial that you have all of the elements very nicely attached, because someone will be removing the lid very often, right? It's not gonna hang on the wall. It's gonna be it's a functional art, so it's gonna be play around, it's gonna be used, it's gonna be put up and down many times. So that is your most important thing when you're working with functional art pieces, to remember about the functionality, and that the design that you are creating with Druzy and with crystals is not easily destroyed. And now you can see how I'm applying more different pigments and creating it's very nice soft shade look. It's almost like a marmor look, my goal was to have a very delicate wispy effect. And yeah, I really like working with this resin. It's not running off the edges very easily. It's much better for those projects, those smaller sizes projects. I will do more project with this specific resin, and I will pour lines on a smaller areas around 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, which is between 10 and 20 centimeter. I will work with different sizes and shapes, and I'm gonna play more with this resin because I like how good it's staying on, and how quickly it's actually curing, you know, and how it's keeping the shape of the design I'm creating, and how fast I can move to the next project and you know, have more space. So yeah, I just put back on top of the resin, I put back the Druzys in the places where I previously you know, decided that they will go into. So you have the same exactly design that I created before, and now the Druzy is curing together with the resin, and I'm just playing around with some drip offs. I'm playing around with the leftover from cups to have the wispiness and the design that I'm thinking I'm gonna like. And because this specific project ended up to be a very beautiful and soft and delicate and like almost like dreamy, and this delicate dusty pink is peeking through the crystals. It's not maybe 100% visible, but it's peeking through the crystals, and I'm showing you the exact products from the Druzy goddess that I used here. And I'm finishing Druzy always with this diamond kiss, which is premium glass flake, and at the end I was showing you goddess whisper, which is extra fine, very delicately shimmery silver and white glitter, and it's giving me a beautiful delicate shimmer that it's not even looking like glitter, so that's why I like it so much. And next day I was really late in the night and I was not having the best light, so I decided to wait until the next day, and I'm removing now the tape, and I didn't even have to use the heat gun to remove the tape, and you can see how beautiful edges we are having here, how accurate, how beautiful everything is finished. There's only one little thing here, but the rest, everything looks so beautiful and professional. There is no leakage, there is just like, it's perfect. And this is the box that, and this is the functionality that it was, you know, advertised for, to put the lid on top, and you can use this way, you can use the mirror and you can use everything inside, and it's also perfect for like earrings and bracelets and the little jewelry. And you can put the lid up, you can use the mirror, and you can look at yourself when you are applying makeup, and you can see that even if we put this specific design and we pour the resin, the functionality is still preserved and everything is working nicely. The only thing that I didn't love was the shade of the bamboo color on the edges, and I'm not having any sunlight here. The lid is absolutely beautiful and shimmery, especially when you have a little bit of sunlight, and I was having very cloudy days. I was trying to show you the sparkle and the glimmer, but it was not working with me too well, and I decided to go around the box, the edges, with Molotov Chrome, which is my favorite marker for all of the silver finish. It's the best silver marker you can ever find. It's giving you a very nice and mirror effect, especially if you go around the edges at least twice or 3 times, because every time you paint on top of the wood, if you paint on top of the epoxy, it's not really doesn't matter, but if you paint on top of the wood, everything is soaking into the wood, so you need to go around with probably like 2-3 times. And you can see I cannot hold the edges, so I'm holding the lid by the crystals, and everything is staying in very nicely. And the druzes were not very thick, so they're also very nicely attached. Nothing is falling apart. So this is very, very important when you do functional art, and when you do the design with crystals, druzy, or casted elements, that everything is very nice and functional. And yeah, I did a little bit of speed up, so you don't have to sit with me here and watch me just painting the edges in 5 or 6 minutes. But as you know, everything is taking its own time, and you will see in just a moment how the silver edge is looking. I will put it back on the box, and this is the final design that I decided to go with. I didn't want to do any line work. I like the wispy effect. I didn't want to put any metallic because I like the softness, and I think this is the beauty of geode art. It can be different. It doesn't have to be every time metallic. It doesn't have to be every time glitter, metallics, and line work. It can have different form and shape. And if you love crystals but you don't like a lot of line work, or metallic look, gold, or you don't like a lot of glitter, this is the perfect soft look that you can achieve with playing with resin and with playing with different colors of the druzy and different colors of crystals. And also, if you don't have a specific color of crystal, you can choose from 16 of different colors of druzy and play with it, and use just clear quartz as a base for your designs. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next tutorials. There will be much more that I'm gonna publish here in the next week, so subscribe to not miss any other new tutorials.